Sorry, folks, taking just a second to get set up here. All right. Good afternoon, folks. My name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, and I'm picking up with the second half of the stream from earlier today. We're playing a bit of an unusual build. We're playing a slight alteration of Mark Koenig's build, which is experimental in two ways. One, it cuts the Stoneforge Mystic package. Two, it cuts swords to plowshares. For those of you who watch this on YouTube, I will link you to the full version that has sort of the video deck tech so for this build. You need me to reduce the file size on the largest emote, right? Oh, Stunton, I will send you an email right after this. Sorry, I forgot with testing that I had going on this week. It wasn't the file size that was wrong. It was a background thing. The background needs to be transparent. I'll send you a message with instructions right after this stream. Sorry about that. I totally forgot. And Tyler, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for raiding / hosting. You can fight my Thalia emote all day. All right. So essentially, I believe we're currently 2-1 in this league. Let me take a look here. I got halfway through earlier. Yeah, so we're currently 2-1 in this league. We have wins against Rug Delver and Ant, and a loss to a deck that I suppose we can call Blue-White Stoneblade. The chat said some things that suggested it was a Tesserator deck that sideboards into Stoneblade, but I didn't see anything that like truly suggested that for sure. Oh, D-Hub, thank you very much for the auto host. So since I've already kind of done the deck tech earlier today, and that'll be available later for anyone who is just turning into the stream now, I'm going to go ahead and just jump into some games with this deck. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I am interested enough in it that I want to play a few more matches. Because our league earlier today wasn't a very representative set of matches. It was sort of an odd assortment of mostly non-tier 1 decks. I want to just see how this performs against a more average field. Alright, well, that one's probably going back. It doesn't have a white source. Alright, this is a reasonable hand. 3 lands, 3 spells, and I can cast them in order. I'm going to ship the Karakas to the bottom even though I have Mom. I think I want some gas. Leyline of Sanctity. So, it appears that my opponent is straight up playing Leylines. Maybe. Oh, is my opponent just on, like, Prison? I guess my opponent is on, like, an Angel Stompy style deck? Question mark? Probably. Makes this Recruiter of the Guard way worse. Yeah, I've said many words about the whole Spirit of the Labyrinth situation, and we're just gonna trade this for this cat here. That's fine. I just want to turn my Recruiter of the Guard on. Don't have another cat? Ah. Fuck me. Our hand does basically literal nothing now. It's okay, we have another spirit to trade with a cat. Rather than playing the spirit, I'm going to play the Flicker Wisp while I still have 3 lands. I think getting Ghost Quartered or Wastelanded is a very realistic concern. I'm going to grab my water bottle while my opponent thinks. Are you just, like, playing a Spirit Guide? Yeah, they're just playing a Spirit Guide. Alright, well, my opponent's hand is garbage, but most of my hand has been invalidated. So we've got that going on. Hey, Bahra. I'm playing something approximating your build. It's weird. Not well. Not well at all. We had a 2-3 finish earlier today. We're currently 2-1. Admittedly, we got paired against some weird matchups. So many cats. Stupid cats. We're porting the plains rather than the cavern because porting the plains will potentially let us keep my opponent off of a double white spell and also bouncing Thalia. Hey, got shot the Bob. I'm glad that you got here for a live stream. Kind of picking up with something I'm finishing from earlier. Opponent playing the great combo of Leonin Arbiter and fetch lands. Ah, the good old commenting on a replay. It's strong. What am I getting here? I can get Direfleet Daredevil to Swords to Plowshares, their Arbiter. I can just get a Flicker Wisp to just continue Flicker Wisping this Recruiter, which I kind of like. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. So, what is my opponent playing? That's a realistic question. It is probably somewhere between a budget D&T deck and a prison deck. We're gonna need to see a few more cards from my opponent to know for sure. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Opponent is playing fetches and Leon and Arbiter in their deck. That's probably all you need to know. Yeah, the main deck leyline is very interesting. Opponent playing like they're not dead. Is there any random thing that I need to play around? Can't think of any reason why I need to chump block here. They don't have, like, red, so I can't get, like, Fiery Confluenced and Domed for lethal here. Our opponent is a madman? Maybe madman. Not confirmed madman, though. Alright, what punishes us and leaves us not dead? I think Swords to Plowshares and Restoration Angel are things that would be actively bad for us. I'm not going to attack with the Recruiter. I'll leave that back just in case. I don't want that to get ambushed by Restoration Angel. Our opponent can just be dead. It's like our opponent has a pile of fringe playable things, hit submit, and is just going with it. Yeah. So I guess we'll call this red-white prison, I suppose. So I was on the play for this one, and I win against Zeal. So game one, opponent doesn't really do anything. I mean, if we're being completely honest, they played a bunch of cats. The cats didn't have a huge effect on the game. They just slowed me down a little bit. Oh, Z-Boy Wonder, thank you for the auto-host. So, Pontiff is potentially pretty good. I probably want this generic package. I don't know. Oh, so the Path to Exile's become really cute with their stuff. If they're playing Arbiters and I play Paths, that's sweet for me. Let's figure out what I don't want. Let's start there. Magus isn't great. Hallowed Spirit Keeper is pretty awkward. The Thalias are definitely coming out. The Spirit of Labyrinth aren't great, but they trade with random, like, X2s that my opponent is playing. I don't know if this Hollow Spirit Keeper is better than, like, what other random cards. The issue is that if I cut all of these Spirit of the Labyrinths, because they're not great, then I just have, like, no turn 2 plays, so I probably need to keep some number of them, which is unfortunate. Or maybe these paths are just overly ambitious, because my opponent is going to have so many basic lands. Oh, Star Streak! Don't take this as one of my regular builds. I'm doing some testing for Bahra. This is not typical. This deck list is all sorts of weird. I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand on the strength of Ether Vials over time. Oh great, there's moms in there too. It's good to know about. And I'm gonna go ahead and fetch while I can fetch. F-Freak, all that information is below the stream. The short answer though is it's $12 to get me to play a league with the deck list you want me to play. Yeah, I'm certainly not above bribery. This is the side gig, right? Alright. How is Monastery Mentor good in your deck? That's a legit question. If you're anything resembling D&T, you don't actually have that many non-creature spells to do anything with. So confused. Do I still Council's Judgment it out of fear of being wrong, and my opponent having boarded into, like, 4 Swords to Plowshares, 4 Path to Exiles deck? Because my original plan was Council's Judgment this mom away, but this Mentor is all sorts of confusing to me. Yeah, so for post-board games, does my opponent, like, pull, like, the Thalia in Prison elements to try to go, like, Turbo Monastery Mentor off of not cantrips? Question mark? I don't know. Like, the Mentor seems terrible. But if I'm wrong, it's super bad for me. Yeah, opponent's deck is full of great combos. Fetchland Arbiter, Mentor Thalia, huh. Alright, I'm casting Council's Judgment. I don't know what I'm gonna name yet. Sure, Mentor was probably in the sideboard. I agree with that. I just don't know, like, why my opponent is playing it in their deck, period. Yeah, I try to do some real testing, and this happens. I'm gonna try to ignore the Mentor, I think, and, like, get punished when they kill me somehow. That explains the Simian Spirit Guide. You exile them to pay the Thalia tax, so your Mentor can make the tokens. Ooh, were you the one who, vialed it in response to, like, a Tabernacle trigger to save your team? Was that you? Yeah, that's awesome. Alright, you have Field of Ruin. I see what you're trying to do. Oh, your Blood Moon triggers the prowess. I see. It's all part of the plan. I don't know that casting Blood Moon was any better than just, like, using Field of Ruin. So confused. So confused. Yeah, it appears my opponent's Blood Moon is just not doing things that are good. Oh! Hey! They've got a backup Blood Moon now. Look at how many things they're getting with their Monastery Mentor. Oh man, they do have the Thalia Mentor combo in post sideboard. Oh, this is great. Opponent is so scared that they just can't even attack. Oh, this is too good. Alright, got this the spirit for value here. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on. Alright, opponent just refusing to attack in and get blown out. So we'll just keep playing cards and kill them. can even play around my opponent's Wrath of God now by making all of my creatures indestructible. Because they probably have Wrath of God in this deck, right? It just makes sense with all the creatures they're playing. Alright. You have a hero of Bladehold. Does you playing that pre-combat mean you're not attacking again? Because that's great for me. So that's potentially a lot of damage, right? So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Still not anywhere close to lethal. Or I guess it is closer because Hero of Bladehold makes 2 idiots. Get out of here, Hero Bladehold. You don't get to attack. You know, I'm just gonna take all that. I'm just gonna take it all. I'm not tapping this bomb. I don't need to block. That's fine. Just sends a message back to them. I think that's important. Alright, we won that match. It was scary since my opponent had so many combos in their deck that they were drawing to, but we did it. Alright, so why did we win? So game 2, opponent just doesn't attack out of fear and dies to Flappers. Well, the good news is we're 3-1 in this league, so we've made our money back with this one. And if we win the next one, we redeem ourselves for the previous league and do better than breaking even with this deck list. Holy day blowout. That would do it. That would be a card that could have beaten my board. So for anyone who tuned in right after I started here is today's deck list. Just kind of pour over that and consider the interestingness that it is. So notably, no Swords to Plowshares, no Stoneforge Mystic package. In exchange for that, we're playing a whopping 33 creatures, so the Aether Vials in this version of the deck are absolutely insane. There are some really cute cards in here. Hallowed Spirit Keeper is going to be really good against things like Czech Pile, where the games go really, really, really long. Magus of the Moon can shut off and win games interestingly. And then there are some cards that are very, very situationally good. This hand looks pretty terrible. want to see if I have any data on my opponent before I mulligan this. I think my opponent plays Dredge. This is not going to get there versus Dredge. This is probably also not getting there versus Dredge. How certain am I that my opponent plays Dredge? It's data from 2017. There's some chance that my opponent has switched decks, and I don't want to throw away a hand that has, like, some lands and spells for absolutely nothing. Alright, opponent is on Dredge, and is probably just going to nut me here, so all of my choices this game were completely irrelevant. Oh, okay, this is sweet. So this is Street Wraith activation, Street Wraith activation, hold priority, LED, crack for red, discard hand. That's gross. I'm going to concede in response to the Cabal therapy here. My opponent has, like, 3 bridges in the graveyard already. I don't want them to, like, 100% know what deck I'm on. Like, they'll probably board for D&T, but they might board for Miracles or something else stupid. Yeah, half the deck is in the graveyard. If my opponent Cabal therapies me, I'll concede. If they don't Cabal therapy me, I'll go to my draw step, acting like I have Terminus as an out. Ooh, but they might just, like, kill me right now, right? Flamekin Zealot. That's the Dread return. Alright. Great job, opponent. Great job. Indeed, that is a Dredge hand. That was gross. Alright, so we're playing against No Justice. Game 1, loss to turn 1 kill with Flamekin Zealot. Haven't seen a Flamekin Zealot in a Dredge deck in a while. Alright. Surgical, great. Recruiter, probably fine. Rest in Peace, great. Containment Priest, great. Path, fine. What's bad? Spirit Keeper's pretty bad. Magus probably gets boarded out. Some number of our Flicker Wisps probably need to go. These Spirit of the Labyrinth aren't really great. They're not going to do what you want them to do against Dredge cards. I guess the spirits aren't, like, absolutely no value, because the first time they go and cast a Breakthrough or a Faithless Looting, they do something. So it's possible that that's just better than like, these Flicker Wisps. The Flickers can get in there, but Spirit of the Labyrinth is really good at one thing, and that's dying. And if it dies, then I remove Bridge from Belows. So maybe I want some Spirit of the Labyrinths in my deck so that they can die. Like, honestly, not being facetious there and just making fun of the card. Like, most of my other 2-drops here have, like, first strike. I probably want 1 Flicker Wisp still, just, like, for Recruiter of the Guard chain purposes. Thanks, Tyler. I'll see you later. Alright, so then I would need to cut 1 different card. I could probably cut 1 Daredevil. It's not at its best in this matchup. So this has turn 3 Containment Priest. Is that good enough on the play? It's not great, but I can port my opponent's land down so they can't go absolutely insane. That might be good enough. It's close, like borderline. But, like, this is a hand that effectively has Graveyard Hate in it, so might as well keep it. It also has Aether Vial in my 33 creature deck, so there's something to be said for that. Opponent also mulliganed. Ooh, opponent has a weak opener. Never mind. Opponent had a weak opener. Straight Wraith is good. Alright, great. Opponent has LED. Opponent also has Lightning Axe. That's good to know if we somehow don't die this game. So no bridges after all of that? That's good for me. Opponent name's Containment Priest. That's a decent name. But if I had that, I probably would have not ported and instead just played Containment Priest. well, he got another one, so there's that. Alright, opponent, you have no cards in hand. You have nothing you can do. Our opponent is playing Fanatical Firebrand. 1/1 red with haste. Sack it and tap it. Deal 1 damage to target creature or player. So I guess I vial in Daredevil, use port, cast looting through some of this stuff, wasteland them, hope to find surgical extraction for a bridge from below that they'll later put in, and get there. This is the plan. Ha! Ha ha ha! Alright, so we'll go ahead and dump a vial and a wasteland. Play wasteland. Use wasteland there. Hey, there we go. Bridge, bridge, bridge. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, the Lightning Axe and the Fanatical Firebrand are a little bit weird, I'm not gonna lie to you. Enjoy your Icarids, opponent. No, this is game 2. That's why we have Surgical. We lost game 1 very, very quickly to that Flamekin Zealot on turn 1. Alright. Does anything my opponent have going on make me change what I want to do? Probably not. On the draw, I guess there's some consideration of boarding in Mindbreak Trap for my opponent, just like trying to go ham on turn 1. GG, opponent. Yeah. Yeah, my opponent having one little fire axe there probably doesn't change anything I want to do, though, right? I could consider bringing in more spirits. I could consider bringing in Mindbreak Trap. Could consider boarding out more Dire Fleets. Though the Dire Fleet for looting to find the surgical was exactly as I dreamed it up, and that worked out. So that was nice. Like maybe there's some world where on the draw these wingmares are just like too slow to matter. No, I guess like Dire Fleet where I can actually use its ability is turn 3 anyway, and a wingmare is pretty good. Maybe there's just no world where I actually want a Flicker Wisp. And this should be either Mindbreak Trap or Daredevil. I'll probably mull more aggressively on the draw. Alright, my opponent mulliganed. I have a really annoying hand of Thalia into Thalia. I don't know if this is actually good enough, though. Like, any hand that has a piece of graveyard hate is better. By a lot. Since the opponent has already mulliganed. But if my opponent stumbles, Thalia into Thalia is actually pretty good. I only have 4 graveyard hate cards. Hands that are better would have either the Path to Exile or the one of the 4 graveyard hate cards. So I have 7 cards and 6 draws to be better than this hand. It's close. Since this has like a second redundant Thalia, this is already kind of a 6-card hand anyway. A very decent 6-card hand. I'm gonna try to mulligan this one. This hand is way better. Holy cow, am I rewarded. Scry White Source to the top. Selfless Spirit. So that's actually interesting, right? Because Selfless Spirit can sacrifice itself at any time to destroy bridges, but I think I want a White Source more. Just be amazing and draw planes. That sounds like a great idea. Oh god. Oh god. Careful study. Hold priority. Discard just 1 dredger. So I can just pull the Stinkweed Imps from the deck right now to limit what they can do, and just give them 1 dredge where they have to hit another dredger and then blank their turn. Or I can let them have this and intend on sniping bridges. tricky. I think I'm gonna let him go. Alright, so they have Narcomoeba, but nothing else going on there, so I can snipe the bridges safely. Oh no, they have the Faithless looting. Okay. You can keep going. Surgical extraction, target bridge from the below, a life. So, has anything changed as far as their deck goes? It doesn't look like it. So I'll snipe bridge, 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 bridge. 4 bridges. Okay. Ooh, they named Stoneforge Mystic. Guys, they missed with Stoneforge Mystic. That's unfortunate, opponent. Does my opponent not even have any Icarids yet? Oh, that's super unfortunate for them then. So they probably have to Cabal Therapy away my Rest in Peace so they don't just lose the game, but then they lose their only thing they have on board. Nope. Oh, there are no Icarids in their deck? Oh, well, they're pretty close to just Stone Cold dead then. Come on, opponent, let me take up my vial. Let me do it. Alright. Yay! We did it, chat. It's a game to win with Surgical on bridge. So I'm just going to update my spreadsheet a second, and then I'm going to jump into another league with this. Alright, so we're on the play and we win, and then we were on the draw and we win. Yes, what a normal sequence of decks. Blue-white Stoneblade question mark, Rug Delver, Ant, red-white Prison question mark, and Dredge. Alright, so I have to click through that. So that was a 4-1. That was a loss to Blue-White Stoneblade, and wins versus Rug Delver, Ant, Red-White Prison, and Dredge. So that officially makes up for the sort of 2-3 event earlier, and we'll give this one more go. I don't have a lot going on today. It started snowing here again, so I'm not going anywhere, let's put it that way. Maybe we'll see Black Red Hollow one again. Yeah. Yeah. So the matches earlier were versus Shardless Bug, Red White Hollow one, Ant, Tess, and Elves. So it's been a real representative day of our Legacy meta game. Okay, yes, alright, that's fair. My deck is also Red White D&T question mark. Alright, this is an Aether Vial hand, so we're gonna keep it. Don't be elves, don't be elves, don't be elves, don't be elves, don't be elves. Woo! Not elves. Womp womp. We're gonna get stifled? Because that would suck. You feel like the meta gets pretty wild on weekends? I guess I should start keeping data on that, honestly. Alright, so opponent's best play is just drain me and not remove Thalia, so they probably don't have like a Fatal Push or a Lightning Bolt. So I guess that's good for me. Thalia double Wingmare get there is indeed the plan. Thalia double Wingmare followed by double Wasteland is the plan. Or maybe Thalia Wingmare followed by, like, double Wasteland at that point. Alright, Abrupt Decay. Sure. There is some merit in playing the Thalia Heretic Cathar there over a Wingmare. But I want the Wingmares to be stacking. Delver. Okay. Abrupt Decay. Also fine. Land, great for me. I think I just want to, like, go Daredevil, Abrupt Decay, Deathrite Shaman, and then trade this Wingmare for Delver at some point. Alright, opponent has a Ponder. Ooh, there's a Stacks player in the queues. Stacks is fun. Super interesting to play against. Ah, another Deathrite. Well, another turn or two down the line, I can go Flicker Wisp as Daredevil and kill that. Alright, so opponent forces. Now I get to resolve a Mom. Fuck. That was an insane top deck from my opponent. Opponent now cannot drain us with Deathrite Shaman. They can just eat things to undo the damage of Direfleet Daredevil. There's some world where the double Wasteland is not correct, because if my opponent does something like, say, top deck a Daze, and then I top deck a Flicker Wisp or equivalent, then their Daze has value again. But I think just, like, keeping the clock a little bit longer matters more than that. This also keeps my opponent off of main phase mana, unless they don't gain life with Deathrite. Alright, that's a pretty legit top deck. Or it's potentially what they drew last turn. That's tilting. So it doesn't matter that this spirit is making it so that they don't draw the card. They're just doing this so that they flip their Delver. So their Delver flips and then I'm dead next turn. So Spirit, as usual, overperforming. Good job, buddy. Good job. So my out is either draw a flyer or hope that my opponent forgot how Spirit of the Labyrinth works. Those are our outs. Okay. This is fine, not insane, but fine. That is correct. We're all about the Spirit of the Labyrinth hate on this channel. Alright, opponent's card is Daze. We block a Delver. Okay. We get protection from blue. Alright. Alright, so now we're dead to this Delver getting in. We're dead to opponent drawing a black source. We know the opponent has Daze, so we won't cast the Hallowed Spirit Keeper into it. We'll just port them. So my opponent goes to 8 here, effectively up to 10 on their next turn. Alright. That's unfortunate. Alright, so we're playing against Bug Delver. We're on the draw and we lost. Versus Biggest Bird. So game 1, narrow loss to Deathrite Shaman. So we're going to want these paths. Probably play the Council's Judgment and the Hallowed Spirit Keeper. And the Rest in Peace. What are we not going to want? Maybe the Hallowed Spirit Keepers aren't right. Like, there are some cute worlds where they produce a bunch of tokens. Unsure. We'll probably take out the Recruiters with this build. In hindsight, what do you think of the double Wasteland play now? I think it was great. 100% would do it again. Like, we're super dead if my opponent just keeps draining me with the Deathrite Shaman, and that's what we eventually died to. So maybe we don't Spirit Keeper. And then maybe I just trim some stuff. Like, trim a Flicker Wisp, trim a Thalia, trim a Wingmare, rather than cut anything in particular. Actually, Wingmare is probably pretty great since it stacks. I don't necessarily think it's right to just trim Spirit of the Labyrinth when I'm on the play. I just don't want my opponent to lead on Deathrite Shaman here, because my plan is just take up Vile, Wasteland, whatever land you play. I think I'm just going to have a stare fest with my opponent. If they just go land, Abrupt Decay my Vile, then I play Thalia Heretic Cathar and have like double Wasteland as follow-up. If they... I think that's better than just like ramming out Selfless Spirit, and this way my opponent can't like end of turn Brainstorm. I don't know, I start pecking faster and I have protection for Thalia Heretic Cathar if I just cast this though. So I take it back, I'm gonna do that. How's Red Snapcaster? Underwhelming. Very, very high upside, relatively low average power level. I've got a whole article on it up on ThrabenU University if you want to check that out. I'll link you to that. Oh, awesome. Just in case you don't have it handy. Fatal Push Selfless Spirit. Don't you get that? That's not going to work. I can sacrifice Selfless Spirit to make it indestructible. Got him, chat. Got him. Alright, you have a Tarmogoyf. Alright, we have taken our opponent off of all of the lands, and now we have Big Thalia to just be a super bully. And we get a Rishadan port to be a super-de-duper-de-duper-de bully. Awesome. Tapped Wasteland. Hey, D&T24, I'm really glad to hear that. So my usual stream times are Monday and Wednesday nights at about 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to catch me live, that's usually when that's going to happen. Otherwise, the stream tab on my website has links to, like, my YouTube channel and all that, where I dump the videos. So I hope you enjoy the content, you know. Feel free to follow. And you can watch me hopefully not get beat to death by this Tarmogoyf and draw, like, literally any card in our deck. Well, that is literally any card in our deck. That, I guess, technically fits the description of what I was looking for. Should have been more specific. Alright, I really think my opponent probably needs to go on the defensive here sometime pretty soon. Oh, D&T24, thank you very much for subscribing. I hope I make it worth your time. This build is not normally what I play. This is experimental. This is something that Mark Koenig came up with. It's interesting. Wasteland confirmed, too strong for Legacy. Alright, opponent has finally gone on the defensive. Mom is a pretty great draw. Opponent can't force of will this either. So we'll just wait a turn. We don't need to like throw anything into the Tarmogoyf. My opponent like literally cannot play any spells next turn. All their lands are entering tapped. They don't have any basics. They're donezo. They also can't attack because there's lethal on board if they do. Draw Direfleet Daredevil to push the Goyf. Yeah. Well, I guess we can Direfleet Daredevil and push the Goyf to send a message here. This is 2 for the Direfleet Daredevil, 2 for the Fatal Push. What's the black splash? Orzhov Pontiff in the sideboard is the answer. Alright, so we're on the play there and we win. So game 2, double Wasteland opponent off lands. We'll be on the draw for the next one. Do I want to change anything about my sideboarding? Is there anything I want less than another Flicker Wisp? Throwing some number of spirits could be right over Flicker Wisp, since Flicker Wisp trades with Delver and we don't have a lot of removal. Alright, this is a hand that we try to go like Thalia into Wingmare and see if we just lock the opponent out of the game. Deathrite Shaman. Great card. I think I'm just going to play Wasteland and pass. If I draw a non-fetch land, I want to play that rather than fetch and put another thing in the graveyard for Deathrite. Beast player Aaron, there's like a snowstorm where I'm at right now, so to a certain extent that may be influenced by weather on my end. Any thoughts on Wingmare in a mono white build? I think it's fine. It's a good flex slot choice. Alright, we did not successfully draw a non-fetch land, so now we have to put a land in the graveyard for Deathrite Shaman, which is unfortunate. I have plenty of lands, but I think I'll just go ahead and fetch plains for right now. Yeah, stream quality is usually pretty good. Less so today, apparently. Yeah, I was afraid of something like that. It's not the end of the world because, like, we still have 2 cards in hand that trade with Delver. So we're more or less on a 4-turn clock from the combination of Delver and Deathrite Shaman. Oh, great, him to Turok. That could be real bad. Yeah, and now my opponent can him as well. If they hit both of our lands, I just die. If they hit both of my flyers, I die. If they hit both of my Spirit of Labyrinths, I do, like, a mental fist bump. Maybe even physical fist bump if they hit both spirits. Alright, hit both flyers. That sucks. But we drew another flyer. I think I'm going to take another Delver Whack and play out a Selfless Spirit. That way, if my opponent has a removal spell, it potentially gets pointed at that spirit so that they can cantrip rather than at the Selfless Spirit. Opponent will just, like, him me again and hit Selfless Spirit and, like, super punish me for all that. We'll offer the trade for the Deathrite Shaman. My opponent will refuse. God damn it. Well, we're sacking Selfless Spirit to make all of our stuff indestructible. And then we're losing this match. It's super unfortunate because this hand was, like, absolutely insane, right? Like, we have Thalia into Wingmare as, like, a really aggressive start. We then have 2 flyers to trade with Delver. They both get him away. Alright, so we're not 100% dead. Yeah, I mean, clearly a great trade on the mana front. Like, unquestionable, right? We're dead in 4 turns to draining, and there are 4 instants and sorceries in the graveyard. Spirit of Labyrinth is dead, throwing the Tarmogoyf by a stupid number. Alright, well, opponent is resource light, so we've got that going for us. Unfortunately, we're not currently in the market to race Deathrite Shaman. I'm not going to blink my own land to just untap it, on the off chance that my opponent's last card is, like, randomly a Stifle that's super bad, and I have no cards in hand, so I have nothing to represent. Interesting. I don't even know if you decay that there. Like, it's a do-nothing card, currently. Because my opponent's Deathrite Shaman just has me dead. Or does it? So this Direfleet Daredevil isn't going to get any value in the face of my opponent's Deathrite Shaman, because Deathrite Shaman is a broken magic card and does everything you need it to. So I guess I just cast 2-1 with First Strike. Holy shit, my opponent didn't just eat the Brainstorm? What the fuck are they doing? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Holy shit, chat. Holy shit. So if my Magus of the Moon resolves, I stop Deathrite Shaman from draining me to death at exactly the right time. So if my opponent does not have Force of Will, I win. Well, not like 100% win, because, like, they still have Deathrite Shaman, broken magic card extraordinaire. They can also, like, float mana and do shit. Alright, opponent, you get to drain me. Does this resolve? Oh, man, it resolves. We might get to steal this one, chat. They'll probably just, like, use Deathrite Shaman for mana, play something that I can't beat, and we'll still die, but there's hope. So, if I attack for 4, my opponent attacks me back to 1, and then I can never fetch again, which might matter. I think I'm okay just attacking for 2. Okay, what do you got? Green? You have another Death Threat Shaman? Oh, you have a giant Tarmogoyf. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Can't beat that right now. Let's rip a removal spell. Plains, that's not a removal spell. Opponent's just like cantripping. So I want to draw another Direfleet Daredevil so that I can Daredevil, Abrupt Decay, destroy the Tarmogoyf. Opponent does not shuffle. That's a terrible sign for me. Alright, so I have to like chump block with Magus, then my opponent drains me and kills me with Deathright. Alright, we lose this one. Game 3, loss with Magus in play because Deathright Shaman is broken. Okay. Oh, there's 2 losses to Bug Delver today, right? That's embarrassing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and leave the deck list up here for a minute. I'm going to refill my water bottle before the next round. If you have any questions about the deck list or what I'm doing here, feel free to go ahead and throw that in the chat, and I'll answer it in about a minute. Oh, I do hate Spirit of the Labyrinth. I hate Spirit of the Labyrinth with a passion. I think that card is fucking garbage, and I'm going to complain about it all day while testing this build. This is Bahra's build. I've just changed a couple of cards. I'm just kind of helping him test and gather some data. How important are the Cavernous Souls for the mono white build? Is there any substitute till I manage to grab one? basic Plains and Caver of Souls are about as good as each other, in complete honesty. Alright, this hand looks pretty nuts. All the Aether Vial hands with this version of the deck are just nuts. Opponent has played a lot of decks, most recently Miracles, and having Aether Vial start versus Miracles is nutty. Especially on the play. Alright, Vial resolved. Awesome. Oh, nope, opponent is not actually on Miracles. Just on Mono Deathrite Shaman deck. Yeah, it's weird, right? I talk, and I hate on Spirit of the Labyrinth. I'm a simple man. It's all I do. Interesting, opponent has a swamp. That might mean they're Czech Pile. Alright, so I think this turn is Vial in Daredevil, Fatal Push their Deathrite Shaman, and then play Spirit of the Labyrinth. So there are a couple of different Czech Pile mana-based configurations in various levels of greediness. So this is probably the deck list that runs an island and a swamp in their flex land slots. I'll sacrifice a Direfleet Daredevil. I'll keep this Spirit of Labyrinth, which you're just gonna like Fatal Push. Nope, Deathrite Shaman. I don't think I want to offer the trade for Deathrite Shaman here. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I do. All my stuff's gonna die at some point anyway. Ooh, opponent takes it. Slightly tilting. But it's fine. How's your impression of the 3-mana guy who makes flyers? That is Hallowed Spirit Keeper. It has literally done nothing so far. I don't even know that I put it into play yet. So, like, I can't comment on it. Oop, shit, I clicked one too many times there. I was supposed to wasteland my opponent off that volcanic island there. That was super, super bad. Now they can do something like Snapcast or Diabolic Edict that I could prevent them from doing before. Alright, somehow did not get punished for a super big mistake. So my opponent actually has a removal spell at this point. Super unfortunate if it's K-Command. And to play around that, I probably should have played the Spirit pre-combat. Although if it's K-Command, honestly, they should probably just, like, kill one of my creatures in the Vial. The Vial... Like, because if I have a 3-drop in hand, then getting me to discard a card does absolutely nothing. Well, I can tell you that Spirit of the Labyrinth as a 4-of feels real bad. That much I can tell you. Yeah, so opponent does indeed, like, do the line that I'm talking about. Ugh. Culligan's Command is disgustingly good. I hope I draw a Daredevil so I can Culligan's Command them, like blow up their Baleful Strix, make them discard a card, or blow up their Baleful Strix, get back another Direfleet Daredevil. Are you getting back just Deathrite Shaman? Okay, sure, that's fine. Don't care that much. I think I'm just going to go ahead and fetch to Thin. It's super marginal. But I really need to hit live and not draw a land. I'm going to offer the trade for a Deathrite Shaman again. We're not going to hold cards in hand because opponent has Hymn to Turok in their deck. And now we're stonewalled. Or we can draw Mom. Alright, opponent has a draw here to find a removal spell before my spirit just makes me feel nice and happy when backed up by Mom. Actually, the spirit's not going to make me feel happy, pretty much no matter what it does. It's got to really do some work. God damn it. So this is just going to be like K command, blow up Mom, get back another Deathrite Shaman. That's some shit. Why couldn't you draw some Ponders? Why can't we draw anything other than lands? Ugh. So the good news is that my opponent is now out of instants and sorceries to drain me with. The bad news is everything else about this game. Yeah, Bob the Lob, I love drawing lands. The only thing I love more than drawing lands is playing with Spirit of the Labyrinth. So my opponent just cast a Hymn to Turok purely to put another instant in the graveyard. That was frustrating. Alright, so we're playing against Czech Pile. We are on the play. And we lost. We lost to Jed E. Goff. So game one, flood after decent opening. So, against Czech Pile. Consider Rest in Peace, Hallowed Spirit Keeper, Recruiter, Council's Judgment, and Orzhov Pontiff to clear out Baleful Strix, and Snapcaster Mage is also not unreasonable either. This deck does indeed feel janky, I agree. My opponent was in the middle, or excuse me, my roommate was in the middle of a vintage league, so I couldn't borrow his cards yet. When he finishes that vintage league, we'll talk. So I'll probably trim on the number of Flicker Wisps I have. If I'm going to generate value with Darfleet Daredevil and Hallowed Spirit Keeper, then I probably don't want Rest in Peace. I don't want to play two Pontiffs. I know that for sure. I don't even know if I want one. Maybe not. And maybe I'll trim a spirit. And another spirit. Actually, yeah, that's fine. Selfless Spirit versus Spirit of Labyrinth is a real choice there. Keep this. We'll lead on not regular fetch so that I can play around Deathrite Shaman a little bit. Yeah, this build will definitely lose to a Dread of Night or equivalent. Like no doubt there. I just want to, like, stem my opponent's early development while this Ether Vial goes and ticks up. I probably lock up the game when I get to Magus of the Moon. Of course my opponent naturally has basics. Why wouldn't they? Yes, that is the plan. Is just the plan is don't play against cards that wipe the board of like -1 cards. Like that we lost super hard to Golgari Charm like a match or so ago. So I actually think I want to Vial in Wingmare, then cast Magus. Or I guess I can just Wasteland my opponent now while my Wasteland still does something. Put in Magus. Then they don't have access to red or black removal with what they currently have. I don't know, just like Wingmare and Magus in the same turn is probably crippling. I should probably just ignore the fact that this Wasteland exists. So I guess I don't need to play around Hymn to Turok. Because like my opponent can't cast it more or less no matter what. So maybe it's fine to just Wasteland my opponent and not go for Turbo Magus and just Magus on my next turn. Yeah, like one way or another, I'm not playing Magus before I have the opportunity to fetch out the second white. Since I have like 2 layers of protection here, there's no reason why I can't just cast the Magus and leave up my Aether Vial, bluffing that I have something. Alright, opponent scoops it up there. Alright, so game 2, win with Thalia, Wingmare, Magus. So how many like first strike people do I have that actually get through Baleful Strikes? So I have Thalias, Daredevils, more other Thalia, and the rest don't get through them. Maybe I am supposed to play a Pontiff for 2. Like, if I play the Pontiffs, then I have more options in terms of just pushing damage through with some of these early cards. It's just hard to cast. Oh yeah, this build is all sorts of weird. Selfless Spirit isn't the best in the face of Baleful Strix, I guess. So cutting 1 is probably fine. Now I have access to Pontiff as a tutor target. And we draw the Pontiff, so we'll see if it is actually good. It's a very real chance that just like wastelanding my opponent's Underground Sea is better than just playing out the mob. But opponent doesn't have a 1-mana removal spell. Opponent does have a 2-mana removal spell, though. Alright, so current plan just involves curving Thalia into Wingmare into double Wasteland if nothing goes wrong. Him to Torok getting 2 lands. I accept. Alright, you want a lightning bolt, a wingmare. Okay, that's happening. If I wait a little while, I can get more value out of this Direfleet Daredevil, but I think I just want to, like, press my board advantage as much as I can. We'll just get that lightning bolt out of there, so that's not a way that my opponent can go and generate value. Like, there's a big difference between my opponent going 4 mana to Snapcaster get rid of one of my threats, and opponent going 5 mana Snapcaster to get rid of one of my threats. We're gonna fetch for marginal thinning. And still draw more land. Do I want to just use Orzhov Pontiff's Plus as a way to just sneak 2 more damage through right now and hit them for 6? Honestly, probably. So the thing is that, like, since a bunch of my creatures have first strike, if they play, like, Baleful Strix or something like that, or Snapcaster Mage, I don't really care about the body. It's not trading with any of my threats right now. So just, like, forcing that damage through is probably fine. Like, my opponent has so many more cards than us that I just need to end this game before they draw something that, like, wipes my board or gives them multiple 2-for-1s. So it does probably change the clock if they play another body. Like, for example, if they change a Deathrite Shaman or something like that, and, like, they gain the opportunity to, like, start gaining life or something like that, the 2 damage that I push right there might matter. And keeping cards in my hand against the Hymn to Turok deck is also kind of risky. So I like my line. It's not a great line, but it's a line that I have available to me. Freaking A, man. Yeah, Horizon Canopy is not a good flex land. It's more likely to deal you damage and lose you a game than it is to just, like, win you a game in these exact sorts of situations just like this. Sure. Oh, another fucking K command? Seriously? That's so frustrating. Now this is just gonna get Force of Willed. Deathrite Shaman is so fucking frustrating to play against. No, it doesn't run Crusaders. We're hoping to draw to a Hallowed Spirit Keeper or a Recruiter. Man, we cannot catch a break here. We'll get rid of the non-haunt Deathrite Shaman here. My opinions on Modern Death and Taxes are that it is basically unplayable, if I'm being honest. I'm not much of a Modern player. I've tried Modern D&T on a number of occasions. I just don't think it's proactive enough for the format, and I don't think you have a lot of the best cards of D&T, like Mom and Stoneforge Mystic, to like make that shell work. Alright, so that was super frustrating. Alright, so game 3, opponent is at 2, and then draws double K command and double Death Ray Shaman. Alright, if I lose another one, I'm just gonna like drop and stop playing this version of the deck. It's kind of frustrating not having like basic staple cards. Like Stoneforge Mystic that game going and getting a Sword of Fire and Ice like really turns things around. Like Gideon or Cataclysm that this deck can't afford to run because of how it's built, turn that game around. Opponent last seen on Show and Tell. This hand does nothing against Show and Tell, and this is a super recent result, just from, like, 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna go ahead and mulligan this hand. Like, it doesn't do a lot anyway. This is still a weak hand, but it's better. Not in the market for an Avenger. Legacy D&T is a great deck. There's a really high skill ceiling. There's a lot to like about it. I just don't think that the modern version is worth trying to specialize in. Alright, looks like opponent is playing like Infect or equivalent instead. Still glad we mulligan. So opponent could be playing Infect, or they could be playing like a Bant True Name Nemesis deck. Either way, it's terrible that we don't have removal. And hopefully Orzhov Pontiff does sweet things in post-sideboard games. Alright, so probably, like, essentially like the Bant Leovold deck. Alright, opponent just has infinite mana dorks. Hopefully they have a hand full of cantrips, and this just wins the game. You know, because that's what Spirit of Labyrinth does. Win games. Right? Right? No, I do not want to show them the scrubland. I will probably concede before I show them a scrubland. Yeah, we're fucking dead now. We have, like, literal no answers to Jitte in our, Game 1 situations. I'm gonna pull up my deck list over here. Yeah, I just can't beat active Jitte in Game 1. Like, literal impossible. Yeah, I just have to concede to that. That's super dumb. There's no way I can get active Mom with Jitte on board already. And this is attacking as a 3/4, so I can't, like, wall it with any first strike guys. Yep, we're dead. No, we don't have Revoker, because this deck's awful. Alright, so game 1, loss to Jitte and triple Mana Dork. So let's sideboard. Pontiff will be really good. Judgment, Recruiter, Relic Order are all pretty good. We probably don't bring in Path because most of the creatures that they're going to have we don't actually care about. We just care about the pieces of equipment. Alright, so what's bad? Howled Spirit Keeper isn't great against a potentially Swords to Plowshares deck. They probably have too many Mana Dorks for Magus to be good. Probably isn't a Selfless Spirit matchup. Alright, our Aether Vial resolved. We have that going for us. So I know my opponent doesn't have Force. They would have forced the Aether Vial. I don't know whether or not they have Daze. I don't really want to play the Spirit of the Labyrinth into Daze. It resolving right here would be pretty sweet. I'm trying to think about whether or not I want to show my opponent the Scrub land right now, or whether or not I want to play a different land. There's probably just going to be lands in the graveyard for the rest of the game. Playing the way that I am now prevents me from getting, like, true named under any circumstances this turn, which is probably good. It'll also let me play Spirit with Mom backup. I kind of want to just cast Thalia Heretic Cathar. The upside of it resolving right here is really, really huge. Wastelanding in the face of Deathright Shaman isn't the best. And then my Rishadan Port does nothing as well. Yeah, I'm gonna take a risk here. Alright, that's nice. Now hopefully my opponent brainstorms and we get to, like, live the Spirit of the Labyrinth dream. Instead of my opponent just, like, slamming a Jete or a True Name Nemesis and I just die. More Deathright Shaman. Okay. I wonder if this pauses my opponent going, shit, I should have brainstormed in response. Because it sure seems like it. Punished. How is the list performing for you so far? Not particularly well, if I'm being completely honest. We got a 4-1 and then a 2-3. We're 0-2 in this one right now. God damn it, are you just gonna, like, fucking Zealous Persecution me or some shit like that here? God damn it. It's really frustrating. Oh, fuck, I just played the wrong land. As you can probably tell by how tilted I am, I'm very frustrated with a lot of things in this deck list. Alright, awesome. Now I can't attack with Thalia anymore. Out of fear of Jitte. Oh, nope, it's a Batterskull. So, what am I doing with this recruiter? I can just recruit her for Magus. Nope, opponent has Noble Hierarch still. They can still produce white mana. Alright, not that. The Batterskull is not an immediate threat. It's just annoying. So I can cast Recruiter, get a Flicker Wisp, Recruiter, and just like start going that value train. Getting super punished for not playing my fucking Sarah Avenger last turn. Yeah, persecuting their board is not great because Deathrite Shaman happens to be a 1/2. Maybe that's too good. Story of my life. I can just get a Relic Warder and Relic Warder their Batterskull away and just try to beat them to death. It's not the worst idea. I'm in for that. Relic Warder is a little awkward if my opponent has a removal spell at some point, though. So, like, I probably can't attack with this Relic Warder, and I maybe can't even attack with Thalia Heretic Cathar. The blowout potential is just, like, so real. My opponent has a Swords to Plowshares. They Swords to Plowshares my Relic Warder, and when I attack in with this Thalia, my entire game plan just folds. So I probably can't attack with the Thalia. I just attack in with the Sarah Avenger, hit my opponent to 7, play Mom, and then after Mom is free, I'm in good shape. Or no, there's no Batter Skull Blowout if I do that, because the Germ token would enter tapped. But my opponent, if my opponent has a Jitte, naturally, then holding the Thalia back plays around Jitte, which I should probably just do anyway. Let's see, target the Relic Order. Do you have Jitte too? Okay, thank God. Alright, I'll just take this hit. I don't care about it. I guess that does something in the face of Sword of Fire and Ice, I guess. Well, at the time, they were not in a position where that was reasonable to do. don't really want to throw away the recruiter just yet, because having it around to just flicker wisp is pretty good. But if I just start chump blocking the Stoneforge Mystic, I can try to aggro out my opponent with the Serra Avenger, I guess. No, I'm not aggroing out my opponent with the Serra Avenger by chump blocking because of the Deathrite Shaman. I'll just take the 4 from the Batter Skull. That's actually a great draw. Yeah, Caracas is certainly a decent magic card, that's for sure. Oh, great. It's an Umezawa's Jitte. Just make my life even harder. Oh, great. Is it a true name? Oh, it's not a true name nemesis. It's a Leovold. I don't care about that. That's fine. Flicker Wisp, you say? I'm probably just gonna, like, cast that to Flicker Wisp my Flicker Wisp. Or to Flicker Wisp my Recruiter, get another Flicker Wisp. I don't think I want to give him another card. Oh shit, Spirit. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I messed up. So I guess similarly, I should have like left up the other Rishadan port because I can Rishadan port with relative impunity due to the Spirit. I'll do that in the draw step. I guess the port does almost literally nothing, though. Because, like, whatever I do, they just use it to deal with, like, put in Stoneforge Mystic stuff. Yeah, I won't even bother to port. So now a Rishadan port is safe. We'll just kind of take my opponent off of things that can mess with me. So what is my safest way to do this? I'm going to have 9 power worth of flyers, so my opponent is dead even with 1 Deathrite Shaman activation, so I just can't let 2 creatures die. Like I said, Mom, block here. Thalia, block here, because that's first strike. Recruiter, block here, because that doesn't matter. So then I protect here. I have first strike for that Stoneforge. I have a Recruiter. And then I don't even need to use the Flicker Wisp for anything as currently stands, so I can just hold the Flicker Wisp as protection for a little while. Seems great. I guess I can just safely do this too, right? There's nothing that punishes me for that. Opponent has Swords to Plowshares at this point, it doesn't matter. Go ahead and bounce that Leovold, get that out. Turn Recruiter, use Recruiter's ability, yes. Alright, we win. Deck list is below the stream. So game 2, narrowly win despite opponent having 3 pieces of equipment. Did not expect to win that one. Do I want to change anything? No, probably not. This is a really medium hand, but it's a hand that has an Ether Vial, so I probably need to keep it. We'll kind of hope that the Pontiff is a blowout, or that we can stop what my opponent is doing with this Flicker Wisp. I mean, this is a matchup I don't expect to win with normal D&T. And we took all of our good cards out of D&T for this matchup. Like, with the Revokers gone, like, any piece of equipment just ends us. It's super bad. Sure, but it's great against Hierarch, Baleful Strix, True Name Nemesis. Opponent just probably has something like Zealous Persecution if they kept this hand and they're just doing nothing. Thoughtseize me. That's fine. I will Thoughtseize you right back with this Daredevil if you don't take it. I straight up think my opponent has Zealous Persecution in hand, so I'm going to make that block. Alien click, sure. I have double Orzhov Pontiff. Suck it. So approximately my thoughts on this matchup currently. Alright. Nope. Sweet. Oh shit, the Magus of the Moon isn't here. I really wanted that. Guess I'll just get Flicker Wisp. Oh yeah, Scooter, I'm beyond upset playing this deck list, so that's to be expected. So I have a lethal attack with Orzhov Pontiff next turn, I believe. Jace, okay. Do they really have Zealous Persecution as one of their last 2 cards? That's shit if they do. That's so frustrating. Oh, Bahra, thank you for auto-hosting. Alright, so we get the sweet 2-for-1 with Orzhov Pontiff number 2. Opponent should have known about that. You're still just dead to that. You bounce Flicker Wisp, I put it back in with Vile. I now have 3 different lethal bodies. Yep. Yay, we did it. Natural Order, you assume that I'm paying attention. With less than 5 minutes on clock, I am not playing optimally, I am playing quickly. Alright, so game 3 win via Flicker Wisp Chain. That's why I stopped talking and I was mostly focusing on my game. It was the clock. We won a game, deck confirmed good. I guess, technically speaking. I guess that means I'll play another one. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University. Today we're playing a terrible, terrible deck. Been pretty unhappy with this build as a whole. We got 1-4-1, 1-2-3, and we're set to scrub out out of this one as well. We'll see if we can go 3-0 here to recover this one. So this build has no Stoneforge Mystic, no Swords to Plowshares in the main deck, the combination of which makes me really bad against mid-range decks. No Revokers either. BGG88. Looks like opponent plays Loam, but that's from like a year ago, so it can't be trusted. This is kind of a mediocre hand, but I'll keep it. Red Prison it is. Chalice on 1. Deal. That shuts off Mom, but that's okay. We don't have Revoker, which is huge for this matchup. Honestly, without Swords to Plowshares and Revoker and the Stoneforge Mystic package, we might have turned this into a bad matchup instead of a bye. Yeah. I'm not going to wasteland my opponent because they still have 4 mana with like the other Chandra Plus mode if I wasteland them, and I need to get to 3 mana to start doing like literally anything with my deck. It's usually not wise to leave the mana unchecked of the Red Prison deck, but like, given the context of my hand, I don't think I can afford to wasteland right now. I'll just be so behind on tempo that I have no chance at getting a hit at Chandra before she ultimates. Current plan is use my next turn to probably Flicker Wisp Chandra and reset her loyalty. Then my opponent will minus on Flicker Wisp, and then I try to like draw another land and play Mom and Avenger in the same turn. Bloodman. Yep. Now we can't cast all the white cards in our hand. Fetch land's a little too late. What does Recruiter do if I recruit her? Not anything good enough right now. Oh my god. Opponent, please just kill me. End me. Make me stop playing this deck. Alright, so now if opponent has... Yep. Alright, and we're just dead to the Chandra emblem. But maybe opponent doesn't emblem because they are bad. We can play towards opponent being bad. Can't cast this Mom. Can't can't cast literally any of the cards in our hand other than Recruiter. So that's what we're going to cast. What are we going to get? None of our cards really matter. I don't think I want to show my opponent Direfleet Daredevil. It's super bad if they know about it and play around it to a certain extent. I'd rather just like get to blow them out in a later game with Direfleet Daredevil. So... yeah, I'm just dead. Dead, dead, dead. I'll get a Thalia. Opponent should, like, probably 100% just minus this Chandra and kill me with an emblem, but they might try to, like, plus and get there. My opponent might reasonably conclude that they can afford to just plus for one more turn in order to keep the Chandra around post-emblem. Especially now that they just don't have anything to play. But the Chandra emblem is unbeatable. Alright, I'm not going to play this Direfleet Daredevil out yet, in case my opponent plays a Fiery Confluence at some point. That way, I have the potential to, like, Fiery Confluence and get rid of everything ever. Oh no, I'm just like straight dead to a Fiery Confluence, right? Because my opponent just shoots 6 at my face, and then the Chandra trigger finishes me off. But again, I probably don't want to show my opponent the Direfleet Daredevil. Hazaret. Great. Alright, so now the bridge lock is guaranteed. Alright. We're done here. Alright, so we're playing against Red Prison. On the draw, and we lose to BG88. So game 1, lost to Chandra, Ultimate, and Bridge. We'll be on the play for the next one. Well, at least he can't attack with his Hazaret. Yeah, we got him. So play Relic Warder, Council's Judgment, and Recruiter. We'll consider Hollow Spirit Keeper just as, like, an idiot that replaces itself if we have cards we don't want to play. We don't want to play Magus of the Moon. That seems terrible. Oh yeah, I hate this deck list. The only reason why I played it a third time was because I 4-1'd and I wanted to give it its due diligence, but this is bad. Spirit of the Labyrinth is just a 3-1 generic beater. Those could probably go. Yeah, so look at how anemic our disruption is. Like, as far as 2-drop disruption, we only have Thalias. We don't have Revokers here. It's rough. Keep. We get Mom into Thalia, into Wingmare off of Vial. That's about as best as we can hope for. If we draw a land and we get to deploy a Thalia next turn, that's awesome. I like Bahra's Exploration. Like, I think it is an interesting list to play, but I just don't think it's good. Like, there are so many problems. Like, you lose tools to fight through a lot of matchups. I think this has stepped too far away from some of the strengths of D&T. Alright. Alright, opponent, your mountain plays around my wasteland. What do you have for me now? Well, it has more weaknesses than most lists because it has a huge number of X1s. It doesn't have game 1 removal. It doesn't have a great generic answer in the form of Revoker. I can go on, but you've probably gotten the gist of what's happening here if you've been watching me this far. Goblin Ratmaster, sure. Joy. I can wasteland my opponent and destroy their Chrome Box and get pretty far ahead in the Mana War. My Mom brick walls the Hazaret, my Thalia brick walls the Goblin tokens. My other Thalia will brick wall it further. Hey, Colonel Elk. Yeah, we are still playing the terrible build, yes. That. I'm hoping to lose this match so I can just stop playing it and never touch it again. It just has, like, no game against random shit. That is correct. I think this build is basically unplayable. Oh my god, opponent, please. Please just hit OK so I can do my turn. My opponent types lol in the chat. They appreciate my horse. Please play. Please play. I have nothing else to talk about here. I've already talked about how miserable I am. I've already talked about how I think this matchup got considerably worse due to the deck building decisions we've made. Oh my gosh, opponent, seriously. We can end this game super quickly if you just hit F6 so that I can do my stuff. I don't think we want to flicker out our own vial yet. You got me with your 2 damage. It's kind of neat because it makes the Goblin Gobble Master tokens come into play tapped. Alright, Pia and Kirandalar. That's frustrating. Yeah, I wish we had Revoker too. I also wish that I had Flicker Wisp my opponent's Chrome Mox, but like obviously we're not playing around PMK, we're playing around like every other card in their deck, and just playing the Thalia first is like a strictly better line. Alright, so now we're mostly seeing if we can aggro out my opponent before I die. So I can hit for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 this turn, and then probably more or less have them dead. We're going to do that. Yes, that is correct. All I'm doing is complaining. No questions about it. I agree with that chump block. We'll kill a Thopter. My opponent probably can't just shoot me in response. They probably just have to let that go so they can block with a Thopter and then use the Thopter to shoot. Alright, opponent just concedes. Awesome. It's possible I should bring in some paths for Rabble Masters. Just so bad to give them another land when, like, the way I win is via mana denial. So win that with Thalia and double Wingmare. Oust is not a playable card. That is not playable by Legacy standards. No, it's no good. Like, if you... Swords to Plowshares is, like, removal spell number 1, that's the best. If you want additional ones, like, Path to Exile is the second best, followed by, probably, like, Blessed Alliance. So this hand's soft to Blood Moon, but it has an Ether Vial, and a Wasteland, and a Port. So we're going to keep that and hope we don't get turn 1 Chaliced, followed by turn 2 Blood Moon. I don't care if we get Blood Moon if the Vial lives. Of course we get turn 1 Chaliced. No, Path is really, really good. Most decks don't have basic lands, so Path is just free. Like your Delver decks, for example, don't have basic lands, and that's the deck that you want Path to Exile the most against. What's the black for? Orzhov Pontiff in the sideboard. Alright, let's hope this taxation plan gets there, because we don't have a plan B. It's turn 5, so I can play Avenger and Port. Ah, fucking wonderful. So we're mostly dead to that. But it does make the Avenger bigger. So we've got that going for us. Oh no, this is still super, super bad for me. Like, I am just dead if my opponent, like, gets a drop an ensnaring bridge or something like that. Like, I'll never get through it. Yep, see, there we go. Now we're dead. Tell me how we're going to cast that Relic Order. We're not. We're getting a Direfleet Daredevil so that if my opponent does something like a Fiery Confluence, we can Fiery Confluence him right back, because Fiery Confluence is close to lethal. If we get the bridge off the board, we can just, like, get a lethal attack and get there. Second bridge, fantastic. Now we really need opponent to cast Fiery Confluence. Third bridge, now we really need him to cast Fiery Confluence even more. God damn it. Yeah, I'm done. No, we're not playing this out. I quit. We're done. We're dropping from this league. We're never playing this deck list again. Alright, so give me a second to look at something, and then I'll say a few parting thoughts about this list. Alright, there we go. So, generally speaking, I hate this deck. It doesn't have removal in game 1 unless you get to, like, Direfleet Daredevil, an opponent's removal spell. With Bahra's original build, there were Sarah Avengers here over these Selfless Spirits, and then you're very, very light on, like, actual 2-drop plays, because this isn't a 2-drop, this is like an honorary 3-drop to potential 4-drop. So I don't like that, and I think not playing multiple copies of Rest in Peace is probably really bad. Like, Bahra's build had a 3rd Surgical where I have this Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace is just a crazy good card, and I don't think we get enough value off of Direfleet Daredevil and Hallowed Spirit Keeper to make that worth it. Hallowed Spirit Keeper literally never did anything, although conceptually I do like the card. If for some reason you're light on Rest in Peace, like, it's a card that you can consider. But Generally speaking, I felt like I was just playing a bunch of bad cards, and even though I had a ton of creatures, I never felt like I was really pressuring my opponent all that much. Like, most of the games I won were just because, like, I just taxed my opponent out with, like, the Thalias and Wingmares. Very few of my wins were attributed to, like, the Spirits and the Thalia Heretic Cathars and the Direfleet Daredevils. So I will not be playing this build again. Alright, that's enough of that. There's one more thing I want to do before we leave, though. I think this is important. All caps, drop. We're done. That's enough of that. Night, chat. I'm going to throw you into a different Legacy stream.